everyone. This is the first episode or podcast, I should say, of ALUMINation. Finally, we've done it.
We did it.
We put out some media. I am Bernie, and my co-host here is Sanri.
I'm Sanri. You guys know me.
Yep. And so we're finally going to do this. Here we go. Our first show that we want to cover. We're going to cover a lot of different things, but whatever the hell we feel like. But the first thing we're covering is probably the best comedy on TV right now. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. And it's a mockumentary about vampires, just right up our alley, fantasy nonsense. And it's based on a movie that came out, I want to say in 2014, around there. Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement made this movie, and it was a cult classic. So they started doing a spinoff, and America got one of the spinoffs, which is the same name as the movie, What We Do in the Shadows. So we're totally excited to talk about this. It's cheesy, funny, stupid humor, lighthearted, and let's dig into it.
You say it's like cheesy, funny, stupid humor and lighthearted, and yet at the same time, it's a show about vampires. So that does have kind of like a little bit of a gore or a horror aspect to it. Which, yeah, I love the silly, cheesy. I call them bad vampires. That's how I trick people into watching it. I'm like, hey, you guys need to check out the show of like really goofy, kind of silly, not so great vampires.
Yeah, they're
imagine vampires who weren't good at their jobs.
Yeah, they're clueless. They're just completely clueless. And just to make a comedy out of vampire, like, just think about how hard comedy is to begin with, and then to take this genre and to turn it on its ass, because mostly vampires are dark and serious, and it's drama and whatnot. It's not lighthearted. So this is just a complete masterpiece in my mind, all through and through.
I mean, if my 64 and 65-year-old parents can enjoy it, and my 23-year-old coworker can enjoy it, then anybody can enjoy it, except for children.
Yeah,
children probably shouldn't watch it.
No.
I mean, it's
16, 17. Well, I could probably watch it. Maybe 14.
14. Hard 14.
Yeah.
14 and up.
So let's go into, there's 10 episodes. We're going to go into each episode. You can, declare which one's your favorite or whatever. I'm sure you have one. I think that the first episode is my favorite. It's called Resurrection. And they have this familiar. And this familiar is Haley Joel Osment as Topher.
Yep.
Topher! Those apples. So everyone's in love with him and whatnot. And so, it's the guy has so much energy, that actor, and he plays that part so well. So he ends up dying, whatever. Being a familiar is a hazardous job. And he ends up dying, so they have to resurrect him. They bring him to a necromancer, which is Benedict Wong, I believe, played the necromancer, and he was fantastic. But my favorite part about this episode is, I'm a big Laszlo. I think Laszlo's my favorite.
Really?
And just his disdain for the necromancer and what a shyster he is, all their tricks and trinkets. Yeah.
You know what it really reminded me of? Did you watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
No.
Oh man, that was a goofy show, and I ended up watching like a ton of it because I just watched whatever was on Adult Swim because I wanted to see animation, because obviously I'm an animator. And there's a part in it where there's a chicken witch doctor, and he comes and he goes, "Arise, chicken. Arise, chicken," and it's very freaking hilarious. So when I saw this, I'm like, man, it's another bad necromancer.
That's scat. That's
No, them spells.
Laszlo has a quote, and it's like foreshadowing for the whole season, but there's no such thing as as vampire killers, you knob lord.
You knob lord.
I love that.
He has the best catchphrases. Like he hooked my dad and my best friend onto watching the shows, and he got my best friend one in the first season. He says sexual intercourse.
Yeah, he is all his actions, everything he does, every look he gives, his eye. You got to watch him, like all of them. You have to watch all of them in every scene. Everything is so nuanced. it's just from their lines to each action to you got to really. I think I've watched this episode like 5 times. Like when it aired, I
Yeah.
watched it over and over again. I kept finding I was like, this is the best. It was so good.
It's really one of those ones that you have to like really pay attention to. Like you can't look away or you could miss a joke, and you can't like, just listen to it like I tried to do while I was drawing, because you will miss a joke.
No, yeah,
so you have to watch
yeah.
and see their silly faces and the context of the scene. So it's very well written. And like we were talking about earlier, we really thought that season 2 was better than season 1. So that's why we're jumping right in with season 2, because you could probably just pick it.
You could watch this anyway. You could kind of watch half-assed. You could not watch any other episodes and just watch one episode as a standalone. You could do that. It's that type of show. It's not necessary to watch them all. Or it helps because there are backstories throughout the whole, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to sit down and watch the whole season. It's one of those kind of shows.
But anyway, Topher gets resurrected.
Yeah.
Get the let out, Burns.
High five.
High five. He comes back wrong, to say it the simplest.
Get the cacas. Get the cacas. The body.
The cacas.
The cacas. I'll go get the cacas. So, well, Guillermo is pushed to his limits because he's fighting off.
Him. Like, Topher keeps coming after Guillermo, and Guillermo's like, fuck this. And we did say Guillermo was Nandor's familiar, right?
Oh, no, I mean, but yeah, he's a familiar.
I feel like everybody who would be listening to this would know at this point. So we're just going to go ahead and do a, spoilers all, season 2.
Yeah.
We drink vampire drug blood with you.
So, yeah. So they, one of the lines that gets missed in this when they're resurrecting him, they needed something of Topher's to bring him back, like something he owned, and so they brought that mini fridge. And
yep, I got it.
Nadia's she's standing there, and it's kind of like at her waist, and she says he loved this cold white box, and I was like, wait a minute. That's an innuendo if I ever saw one. Like I think it kind of went over everyone's head though. I was like, that wasn't. I don't know what was it meant. I had to have meant to have been in there.
I feel like her jokes get missed the most.
Yes,
like because she's so subtle. Mm-hmm. And like, there's one when I'm rewatching season 1 with my folks. When I was in St. Louis last weekend, visiting the Drinks and Nose crew, and she has one line. It's like, no nuns, none. It's a no nun zone. We will have no nuns, none of them. And it's just like you have to almost be like staring at it. And I watch everything with subtitles. I'm one of those people. Judge me if you want to. Thank you. Because I can't hear. I listen to my music loud.
Sometimes I like to see how things are like names are spelled too.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes there's like things going on in the background that you wouldn't hear, but then it shows up on. I don't know. I'm addicted to closed captioning now. I just think it's a more in-depth watch, if you would. There
are things in Netflix shows, especially. I will say this, that they'll say on the subtitles, and I have rewound and been like, no, there was no shuffling in the bushes or X character comes onto screen. I was like, no. I would have never caught that.
Yeah, no. And they play the music, like anonymous music, and
yeah,
yeah, you get a lot. But anyway, so we should go back. All right, so yeah, so they bring another familiar in, blah blah blah. But they bring him back to that. Oh, and also, Guillermo was eating his own poops. He's eating the chocolate covered espresso.
Oh yeah,
Guillermo. Did you see that? He was eating his own poops, and Laszlo like nods in appreciation, like, okay, yeah, I could get with
Laszlo has liked Gizmo more and more this season. I feel like they all. Yeah, we'll get there.
He is. All right, so they bring him back. He comes back wrong. Thinks he's beating up Guillermo in the house. It's just crazy, and he ends up they figure out he's a zombie. So they're like, oh gosh, what are we gonna do? So eventually Nandor like offs him because he just got so fucking annoying, and he kept trying to kill him, and he kept on like giving the eulogy. He was a good, familiar, nice guy, or whatever. Like 20 times they tried to kill him.
Yeah, it's at the end when Nandor has to like electrocute him in the pool with Guillermo, like because I think he catches Guillermo like trying to kill Topher or vice versa, and Nandor has to intervene. And finally, he's like, yeah, he's a freaking zombie, and he has to stand on Topher's back in the pool, and then Guillermo turns on like the faulty circuit and like fries him, and that's the end. And he has to do it like 3 times. He keeps fucking up.
One of my favorite things about Nandor is he has an authentic New York vernacular from being living.
Really?
Like, oh gosh, the fucking guy, like he wouldn't die. He was like a fucking guy, and are you kidding me with this right now? Or are you kidding? He like says like a lot of things that New Yorkers would say.
Now. I noticed that. Yeah. So this is on our unaired episode 0 on The Stranger. Bernie did a hot New York tidbit. So this is Bernie's New York tip number 2. Nandor speaks like a true New Yorker.
Well, the first one was not to hug when we get back to going out places, not to hug Elmo in Times Square or wherever he may be, because those costumes have bed bugs. So you don't want to get bed bugs, and they shake you down for money. They want some money. You can't just go over, like they'll talk you into, oh, come on over, get your picture taken, and then they're reaching in your purse. Like seriously. Then they get mad if you don't tip them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my hot tip. Number
tips.
1 and 2.
New York tips. This will be an ALUMInation standard reoccurring segment.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for episode 1. Besides the license, you remember the keychains?
Yeah, there's like a Wallace's undead version of Santa's workshop going on. He takes all the people he's resurrected, and they're all like working on his little trinks and trinkets that Laszlo said.
His illegal sweatshop of miniature license plate keychains.
I also got to point out that Colin Robinson, I mean, what a guy that is.
Oh my god, he's my favorite. You said your favorite was Laszlo. Colin Robinson is my favorite.
He drives 3.5 hours to a community theater production of Pippin in Albany, New York. So you're much further north than I am. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just. What did you have to say about him in this episode? Because he just gets better and better as this episode goes on, in my opinion. Or this season.
His character development is coming through, and what he likes, and what would actually, get him going and give him energy.
And as I watched season 2 and then went back and rewatched season 1, I just liked his character more and more. He's also Nate from The Office, and that character also. I've watched The Office probably like 1,000,000 times through. That character grew on me more and more the more I watched it. So I don't know if it's just a soft spot or what, but he cracks me up in What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
dry.
Just hey guys, I'm Colin Robinson. Hey.
Yep.
We were having that Q-tip debate, Bernie.
The stuff he talks about. Oh no, but it's just a well-rounded cast. And then okay, so we're gonna go on to episode 2 is about ghosts. It's called Ghosts, and let's talk about Nadja for a second. She gives off, all of a sudden, I'm like, the big curly hair. She's giving off like big Hermione Granger energy, like she's a know-it-all. She's always like telling them, "You guys are stupid," and whatever she says, whatever she says always like happens, and they don't believe her. So I think that's I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh my god, you're right. That would make Laszlo Ron and Nandor Harry, and I have to draw that now.
Oh wow. I didn't even go that far, but yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, like evil this is gonna spawn some kind of fan fiction. We should stop. If it's not out there already, some kind of crossover. Then we can have Mary on and she can read it to us.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yes, for sure.
That's a bit Vissy demands. Also, I'm supposed to pause the stream and say Visaria would like to say that Guillermo is hot in this season. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Yeah, he has, the big dick energy.
He does
going on.
He's also got big Hermione energy because he's learning things that we'll get to with episode 2, Ghosts.
So all this stuff starts happening, and they think that there's ghosts, and one like this piece of parchment gets held up, and it says, "Laszlo sucks backwards," Guillermo says. And Laszlo says, "Laszlo doesn't suck, and if he did it, he wouldn't do it backwards, or he certainly wouldn't be backwards." He is all about sexual innuendos, all about like weird kind of sex. Like he's a real freak. You can just tell that's this season they're really bringing out what a freak he is, and that's like his shtick,
But I really love that because they a lot of times they'll like cut to Nadja and she'll have this like face like she's like, yeah, that's my man. That's my man. He's been my man for like 2,000 years or whatever.
Personally, I'm a man of science, he says, and she says, all right, Dr. Arsehole. So then the ex-boyfriend returns Jeff's and Nandor tries to fight him. And go ahead.
Gregor Jeff?
Yeah, Gregor Jeff's.
Gregor's Jessica? She can't say it.
Jeff's.
Do you think of B-Fish when they were? Yeah, me too. Okay.
And the first season, she said something like, "It sounds like an orgasm, Jeff."
It sounds like a weak ejaculation. Jeff. Jeff.
I always think of B-Fish there for sure.
Me too.
So anyway, so then they were like, "Oh, he's got all this like jism all over him," and they're like, "Is that ectoplasm?" And then, yeah, sure, you know. And Guillermo, he's like, "Get a tissue." He's got like 5 gallons of this shit all over him, and they're like, has one tissue. And then by the end of it, I guess they had to figure out, you know, how to get rid of the ghost. You know, they had to like do something for them so they would finally be at peace. And I guess Laszlo's ghost needed to, I guess he was killed during the act, right? During the act of like sex or something like that, and he didn't get to finish. So he came back and he's
with a raging hard-on.
He came back with a raging hard-on and asked the real Laszlo to finish him off. So then Nadja comes into the bedroom, the boudoir, and says, "What is all this? Is that ectoplasm?" Yes, darling, that's exactly what it is. And they had like some kind of crazy sex act go on in there. But that was, you know, right. Matt Berry is the actor, and he is just, all his little nuances are so good, you know.
Matt Berry and not Jermaine.
No, you got them confused. Jermaine Clement.
I can't tell actors apart. Like Natalie Portman is the same person as she's the same person as Keira Knightley.
Okay, anyway, let's not get on that topic. Jesus, we're here all night. So anyway, all right, let's go on to episode 3. It's called Brain Scramblies, and it's just so Staten Island. They have a superb owl party to go to.
The superb owl.
And they go to their buddy Sean's house, and the wife and the husband and wife, Sean and Joan, don't really like each other at all. They like are fighting. You know, it's like they've been married 20 years or whatever, and
they've been married for 40 years.
Yeah.
And they love each other, but they yell at each other all the time.
The honeymoon is over. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, and then meanwhile, Guillermo is searching for virgins to find for them, and he goes to
Mosquito Club.
Mosquito Club. It was a mosquito hunters
club
or something like that. And he finds a den of vampire hunters on accident.
Mm-hmm.
Then Nadja is befriending the wives, and she finds out that the neighbor's mother, she used to babysit and I guess like traumatized this woman when she was a child.
So the neighbors, it's basically their neighbors that were in season 1 too, and Laszlo would always be like, "Go back in your house, Sean. We do not want to talk to you."
Yes.
Right, that's Nandor. He's like, "Go, you have seen nothing." Nandor's very bad at hypnotizing.
Yeah.
So that's Sean and what's his wife's name?
Joan, I think.
Joan. Yeah, that's right. And so Joan's like great grandmother or mother like lived there before, and then Nadja was like, "Oh, we used to play all the time. I would pin her to the ceiling and tickle her." And like obviously this child was screaming and traumatized.
Yeah. And then she wouldn't change it. She was like, "Will you change me now?" And she's like, "No, you're too old. We're not."
Oh yeah, she goes, that's like the last line of the episode. She's like, "Well, you would stay how you are now," and she's like, "Oh, she's this like woman's on death's door," and this
yeah. So I gotta say that Craig Robinson is plays Claude in the Vampire Hunters. No, Craig Robinson. Yep, mosquito collectors of the tri-state area, and he's been in he shows up in every single comedy. But
is that Daryl from The Office? Is that Daryl from The Office?
Yes.
Yes, I was gonna say Daryl's on it with Nate, and it makes me happy because they worked in the warehouse together.
Yeah, back together again. That was
Henry's
a cool
Office references.
I love when stuff happens like that, though. It's
Count
always like
one.
a little squee.
Yeah, you're like,
you
oh,
know.
and the girl with the short hair. Do you know which actress that was? Because she seemed really familiar to me. Like she was in a lot of
Oh.
comedies too, or maybe like Orange Is the New Black. Because like
Oh yes, she
every
was. She was in Orange Is the
hmm?
New Black. Yes. Then there was the other girl, Shanice,
Yeah, I didn't
the
recognize her.
actress, and that character is funny too. The stuff that she says was pretty epic too.
And man,
Um,
those guys were cool. Those Mosquito Club collectors, nope, they were vampire hunters. Guillermo accidentally found my people. Or his
yeah,
people. I'm
and yeah, and her roommate, the one Shanice's roommate disappeared. They turned into a vampire last season. So there's kind of cohesive things that happen, but it's not necessary to have watched the last season. But
So
it
what's
helps.
the new vampire's name? Jenna, right? The one that Nadja turned?
Jenna, yeah, I
Yeah,
think yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think that's right. The bad vampire who can turn
yeah.
invisible.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
So anyway, back at the superb owl party, they overhear Sean say something, or Sean says something like jokingly about, "What do you guys never sleep? What are you vampires?" And they think that he knows that they're vampires, so they brainwash him, and they try to just take his memories from that night, but they screwed up and they like fried his brain like
They fuck him
forever.
up.
Yeah,
They like turned him. They turned his IQ down at least 30 points. Poor guy.
over
But
the
then
Ocean's 12 memorabilia.
that's right. I forgot about that in the basement.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Ocean's 12 is pretty good. That's the one with the night
George
fox.
Clooney. That's all I know.
That's the one with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. I
All
don't know
those Ocean's
actors.
movies are kind of
They're the same
they're
movie, just
entertaining. Yeah, it's entertaining.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it was. And then they like take this guy Sean. They're like, okay, well, since we scrambled his brain, the brain
The
scramblies,
brain scramblies.
we're gonna have him. He's gonna have the best night of his life. We're gonna treat him to a good time, and they proceed to. They think he's having a good time, but they just completely tortured him.
Tortured him. They like carry him when they're flying. They like what else do they do?
Climb up walls and what? That's
Yeah.
not right. That's not normal. They're screaming. They have a pack of dogs chase them.
Oh yeah. Man, I love when Laszlo gets fucked with by animals or does stuff with animals. Like in season 1,
Yeah, he's always
the raccoons. I'm like, oh, tell me more about this.
Yeah. Or he's like, wasn't he like doing something sexual with like a taxidermied squirrel or something?
Sure,
Not just
I would believe
like, in
it.
passing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god. But yeah,
There's
so
definitely
anyway,
some furry in there.
mosquito collectors of the tri-state area, which is New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. For anyone that wants to dispute that, you're an idiot. Okay, all right. There's a big dispute over that sometimes
It is
in
known.
this area.
I trust
So
you.
then they kind of leave it as like in the meeting and Gizmo, I'm calling him Guillermo. They go to shoot a crossbow, and he's just like, "Oh no, I can't! I gotta go! And he like mistakenly fires it off, and it hits like all
Yep.
three targets, like
Yep.
bullseye, right in the head. So the vampire killer, Guillermo,
He's coming together. He's
what
being
was
shown his power, and he has a choice in this season, doesn't he, Bernie?
yeah? What was the Van Helsing? He's a Van Helsing.
Yeah, he's a Van Helsing. So he's the OG vampire hunter that hunts Dracula. That's
Yeah.
his bloodline. But his real last name is De La Cruz, which he says in the first episode.
Oh, but they didn't remember it.
Yeah, they didn't remember it, but I
And
went
the
back.
last episode. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't even catch that. Nice catch. Episode 4 is the curse, and Nandor receives a chain letter. Like he checked his email for the first time in like 20 years, and he receives a chain letter to his Hotmail account from Bloody Mary. The Bloody Mary curse chain letter. Mail it
Bloody
to 10 people.
Mary.
So what does the chain letter say? It says something like
You must mail
Well-
this to 10 people, or a curse will kill you. You will die a bloody, gruesome death. Bloody man. See, to do Nandor, you just gotta like be really, really slow. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, no, he's. They're all so great. I mean,
Yeah.
he does. He's like the kind of like the stupid one of the.
Yeah, he is.
But I love when they do like you probably would know. the artwork that they show, or is any of it familiar to you?
All of it's real. All of it is real, 100%. I've looked them up sometimes because they're the one with Nadia when she first appears in season 1, and she's like painted as a bat. That's 100% a real painting. And they also show the nightmare in one of the episodes with Nadia, because like she's holding. Sorry, it's not called the nightmare, but she's like on a horse or something. But yeah, it's something similar to that. And so yeah, they're all real paintings. They're all real paintings from history. And the ones of Nandor are Persian, I believe.
They're my favorite. And
yeah, they're my favorite too.
It kind of, you know, leads to his backstory. They use all that stuff to bolster it up, and I think it's just brilliant. So anyway, so they get this chain letter, and Guillermo is still infiltrating the vampire hunters, and they're saying, okay, we're going to go to this house. We know a house that has vampires in it. No one ever leaves, and there's no cars and whatnot. They came up with all this stuff. So
where is it?
Thinks they're in Staten Island.
But
so Guillermo thinks that, okay, this is definitely my house that they're coming to. And he's trying to call them on the phone. Leave the house. Leave the house.
Get out of the house.
You're going to die. And they think it's, the idiots think that, they didn't know that they had a phone, I don't think, at first. And
nope.
They're like, it's the curse. So they're blaming it on this email still.
The curse!
And it's just crazy. So they end up, the vampire slayers end up going to this house, and it ends up not being their house, but there's other vampires there. And so Guillermo was just like Mr. Magoo vampire slayer. Like, he doesn't mean to do anything, but he just starts slaying. It's like muscle memory. Boom, he's just killing them.
It is. It's 100% like muscle memory. Like, he's not even trying. And I hope they do something with that where it's just like the bloodline in this one is strong or something. And then, you know, because they do the serious moments sometimes, like with the vampire council, but then they end up being goofy, like in the first season. So yeah.
So they said in the house, somebody says, who, like, they're trying to figure out their vampires live there still. Who poses with a picture of them? Who poses for a picture of themselves with themselves? It's like one of those glamour shots.
Yeah.
Where somebody's like looking. I was like, oh my god, that is like.
Oh, like one of the meme shots, the photo memes, like Karate Kyle.
Yeah,
or the 90s photos.
In the 90s. Like, we used to have stores in the mall where you would go in and they would dress you up. Like, get your glamour. It was called Glamour Shots. It was his own storefront.
No, see, I grew up very Midwestern, so we went to the strip mall and we went to one of the like Sears, JC Penney, or something else. I don't remember. And you'd have to go, and I think like Macy's would be the equivalent now.
I remember those. Yeah,
and you have to go and get dressed up and do your hair and put your stupid outfit on and get a family photo for Christmas. I hated it.
Anyway. So this light box has cursed us, Laszlo says, which is, one other Laszlo line that is so good. So anyway, it just ends up all resolving itself, and they end up... Is
this the one where Colin he found out about the chain email, and then he like becomes an internet troll or a reply guy, if you will?
That's another episode, I believe.
I'm paying attention to Colin more than I'm any of the other characters, because his stuff gets missed, I think, too, sometimes. But he's like in the basement, like, and he finds out about the chain email.
Kind of like they're kind of setting that up, like he's in there doing like shady shit on the internet.
He's always doing shady shit on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, episode 5 is Colin's promotion, which is probably your favorite episode, isn't it?
Oh, how'd you guess?
Because it's Colin.
It's Colin Robinson. It's Colin's promotion.
And he's upset at first. He's like, oh my god, what am I... He doesn't want to be moved.
He's like, I can't move up because I'm not going to be able to, like feed as easily. And he's like, I don't want to do any more work or whatever. Because I think he's like really sly and he likes to just like get what he wants. Because there's the whole thing with like the laundry, remember? So yeah, I think he's like, he like gets energy off of like tricking people.
Oh, for sure. Well, there's like so many different things we find that he gets energy from this season that we didn't know before, but it all makes sense. Like, we all know someone like that in real life. They just start talking and you're like, probably like us right now, like, shut these people up. We're draining your energy right now, people.
Not us. It's not us.
No.
Nope.
I don't know why he just fell asleep. So he goes back, Colin goes back to his roommates and he's like, I don't know if I should take it. He's all kind of glum about it. and they're repositioning the paintings or reorganizing the paintings in the house, and that's what the other vampires are doing. Well, this is like kind of like Colin's episode.
Yep.
So
Colin's very own episode, just like Butter's very own episode.
yes, and Naja goes more like Pablo Picasso. She didn't like Pablo Picasso.
Nope.
So anyway, so Colin's power is growing,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to get revenge on his ungrateful roommates. And so he brings attention to this painting that is of Nandor burning down Nadja's village when she was a girl, I guess. And Nadja didn't know it was kind of hidden. So he brought out like all this drama for them to dig up, and he fed off of it.
And he started like feeding off of his subordinates at work by making them listen to him so he could like suck them dry, basically. Yeah, he like starts like sucking the vampires dry and like splits into 3 copies of himself or something and kind of like has this eruption of power, and you're like, oh shit, what's going on with Colin? So, you know, like we were just talking about like how we're getting to see more and more of his powers, and he leaves like 1 survivor.
Yeah. And he grew his hair back. He was so powerful, this bald guy.
And his head got bigger. And then like the next shot of him is like in the bathroom, and his vampire roommates are like looking at him, and he has like all this hair, and he just like turns and looks at them. It's amazing. I'm just like, Colin!
And then he was shaving it. He decided that he wanted to be bald, so he was shaving the hair
but
back.
But his head was still giant. He was
like,
creepy.
Yeah, he was like one of those cartoon alien, he got like an alien head. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then so they find out they can't move, and one of the best lines is like they're all sitting there. Colin has drained their energy. There's 3 Collins. He's just so powerful, and Nandor says, "Guillermo, come over here and put your neck in my mouth."
Guillermo,
like, yeah. Feed yourself to me, please. You know,
I'm dying.
And then the thing that broke the 3 Collins up, that was Colin's downfall, was they started arguing with each other, and the one Colin wanted to be called the Seaman. Yeah. And they thought that was problematic, and so they argued over that until they just drained each other. And then Colin fakes his death to hear his own eulogy. Like, that's such a Colin thing to do.
Oh my God.
So that was a great episode too. That was one of the best ones too. It's in my top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed his just like explosion, and he fully sunk into like what an energy vampire could be, and it's just so like on the nose and funny to me. Like it's just such a silly like weird thing. I'm like, man, all them trolls is just energy vampires.
Yeah, for sure. We can get into that too in a minute. But so episode 6 is called On the Run, and this Mark Hamill.
This is my second favorite.
Mark Hamill makes an appearance, and I did not. I know that you didn't recognize him, and I didn't recognize him until like the second scene he was in. Like he comes, once he goes into the bar, I was like, wait a minute, is that Mark Hamill? Like I couldn't.
That's where I saw it. Even the second time I watched it, and Aaron is like, "It's Jim the Vampire." And I'm like, no, what?
No, that's not him.
That's not Mark Hamill. Like, no, because they had him in like a lot of makeup and dark robes and
wig
and shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He comes to Staten Island in search of Laszlo, who owes him a month's rent from 167 years ago
in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's hunting him down for that. It like ruined his life. He became a pauper, I guess, after that. That killed him. So. Then Laszlo takes off. I think did he turn into a bat, or did he just? I think he just ran.
I think he batted.
With a
bat, human form.
So Laszlo is on the lam in PA, in Pennsylvania, and he kills a bar owner, takes a bar for himself, and he becomes Jackie Daytona.
Jackie Daytona. You can tell because of the toothpick. Watch, I become invisible.
And that was his whole disguise, just a
toothpick.
Now, I don't know where that is from, but I remember The Wire. There was an episode where a guy went undercover and he put a toothpick, and that was his disguise. So I don't know if they were, calling back to that or whatnot, but it's just kind of a similarity. I was like, oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're big Wire fans.
Well, actually, my project manager mentioned to me, she was like, did you know she sent me this link to Jackie Daytona shirts, and I was like,
Oh,
oh my
really?
freaking gosh, I need like 8,000 of these, and they're tank tops. Turns out there's like a small independent music artist named Jackie Daytona. We should have Shar review him.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
You
and
know,
he's like living up on this fame. He hasn't done anything since like 2017. I don't
did
even
they
know what kind of
did
his
they make a
style.
did they make a disclaimer about that on the show at the end? I thought because I've seen something like this. Like this does not have anything to do with Jackie Daytona. I think I saw something about that. That it has they're nothing to do with one another. So
Yeah, nothing to do with it. So they probably were
Mm.
aware before it aired or after it aired. He probably was like, "Hey, that's my name, like
Yeah,
my literal
something.
name."
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. Laszlo decides to go to Pennsylvania because it sounds like Transylvania. That was the whole reason. And
The
he
whole reason.
coaches a girls' high school volleyball team to success. And I want to know why there were high schoolers in that bar.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't even think about that until after. But also, I totally played girls' high school volleyball, so I wish I would have had a coach like Jackie
being all
Daytona.
small like you were in volleyball.
Yeah, I was in the back line. I could spike from the back line middle. Striker. Yeah, that was me, girl.
Wow. I
know
never
you
would have
played the
thought.
shit soccer. We talked about that on episode 0.
Yeah, well, no one listened to. Yeah, I was a big soccer
One day I'll release
player.
it on Sun Farm if we get any traction.
We'll get a patron someday
Yeah,
in 5 years, and we'll release it. Well, the show
84 years.
we did the it's been 84 years. We did a show. We did a podcast on a show called The Stranger, which was on Netflix. It's still on Netflix, and it was a great show. But no one watched it, so it probably would have been that popular anyway to listen to a show that no one watched. So anyway, maybe it was like
I think a lot
for
of
the
people
best.
watched it. And I don't know.
To-
We can release it and try to bully people into watching it like
I
I
thought
just
it
do
was,
with everybody. I thought it was great.
Yeah, all the twists and turns. It was just fantastic writing and gotcha, moments, and it's a thriller.
Yeah.
You got to be into that kind of thing. Anyway, okay. So
Anyway, Jackie Daytona, high school volleyball team.
Yep, and he raised money for them. They put it in wire baskets, and I'm like, what could go wrong with that cash just crumpled up in the wire
That
baskets?
Tinder right there.
So, Jim the vampire comes back, and a sheet falls off of a mirror in the bar, and Laszlo is exposed, and so they start a fight. Laszlo does a superfly snuko over the bar to get. That was great.
Can I tell you my favorite part from this episode?
Yeah.
It's a little bit earlier, so I just wanted to mention it really quick. It's when Jim the vampire comes in for the first time and spots Jackie Daytona, and he goes, "I will have one human beer, please. One human alcohol beer." And then he goes, "Have one with me," or something. And they both just take it and toss it over their shoulder where the other one's not looking.
Yeah, like, oh, was the drink. Oh, that was delicious. And they wipe their mouth. Yeah.
That was delicious. And then it's like the only scene where you can actually see Mark Hamill.
Yeah. So then, they burn down. They get in this fight, and they burn down the bar.
Giant fight.
They burned down the money. I should say the bar wasn't on fire yet at that point, but the donation money to some of the volleyball team estates is gone, and Laszlo repays Jim the vampire with a singing bass, a rare singing bass. There's only one of them that exists, and Jim the vampire is very happy.
This bass speaks wisdom.
Yeah. So and then Laszlo says, "Okay, I'm going home," and he gets in his truck and he doesn't know how to drive, and he slammed it, crashed it right into the side of the bar, and he had to burn down the bar to cover up his tracks. He had to burn down 2 buildings before he left town.
Oh yeah.
And he returns home to Nadia, and Nadia says, "I want to see if your toothpick is made of wood." These pervs, they are such pervs.
Oh,
those
but they
two.
love each other so much.
Oh, they're perfect for each other.
They really are.
All right, so we're up to episode. Oh, go ahead.
Oh man, I'm just remembering how much I love Billy Bass. Is that it? What Billy Bass? Billy Bass.
Billy Bass. The bass.
A bass is an instrument that you play, Mallory.
Do you remember when those things were all over the place?
Yes, I do, because I lived through that time. I miss swatches.
Yeah. Take me to the water. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of
My
songs.
creepy uncle had one, for sure.
Oh yeah, everyone had. They sold them everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're up to episode 7, The Return, which is written and directed by my boy Jermaine Clement.
Yep.
Flight of the Conchords is great. I just love everything he does. Um, so this is where Colin gets energy from internet discourse. Um, so he's in there, like, you see him typing stuff in. It's hilarious. He's just saying, starting fights, whatever he could, saying, controversial stuff.
He's a reply guy. He's discovering, like, I guess more and more of the internet, because I think he's kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna troll, blah blah blah, and then he gets into like actual fights with this one dude who's like a mega troll, and it's very fucking like, if you're on the internet, you'll get it and you'll laugh your ass off.
Yeah, and he gets there.
These people. Yeah, he shows up to confront him like at the end, and it's a real troll, an actual bridge troll.
Yeah, he goes, and it's like, you look nothing like your internet pictures.
And they like try to like troll each other to death, right?
Yep. That's good stuff. Good stuff. And Simon the Devious from the Shit Pipe, which is Nick Kroll. I think he tried to steal the hat last season.
Nick Kroll is the douche in Parks and Rec. He's in a lot of stuff.
He's always the douche in everything, I feel like.
Yeah, that's just his character type. The douche in the morning.
On Kiss FM, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's down on his luck, and
he's down on his luck.
And Laszlo thinks he's after that damn hat again from the witches.
the witch hat.
Yep, and he says, "It's my great shame that you find me here." And Laszlo says, "In the sewer," and Simon says, "No, Staten Island." Which is another New York joke, I guess. Staten Island is wonderful. Anyone living there, it's a great place, I swear. Okay, so then there's another vampire Elvis in this episode too. Like, I know. Did you read the books? True Blood books. Did you read them?
Bubba.
Bubba.
Yeah, we talked about it with Elvis. Left Dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here we are again with another Elvis vampire. I don't know if they are doing shout outs to certain things. I don't know, but I was like,
there's a famous movie, Bubba Hotep, that's about a vampire. That's Elvis, and it's this guy, and they
shut up.
Yeah, no, let me pull it up on the Wikipedias. I watched this when I was a high schooler. Bubba Hotep, 2002. Bruce Campbell. It's got Bruce Campbell. That's why I watched it. Based on the Bram Stoker Award nominee short story by cult author Joe R. Lansdale, Bubba Hotep tells the, quote, true story of what really did become of Elvis Presley.
So Charlene Harris got it from that. Well, you learn something new every day. How about that? I have to read that short story.
There's the thing. Bubba Hotep is an elderly resident in East Texas rest home who switched identities with an Elvis impersonator years back before his death, and then missed his chance to switch back.
Oh.
So it's like this whole thing. I don't know if this dude's crazy or not. It's very hilarious, and I highly recommend it. Bubba Hotep, ALUMInation recommendation. All right.
Funny.
So I feel like there's always an Elvis vampire.
I guess so. I guess I'm going to have to look out for that from now on. It's a pop culture phenomenon,
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so then Simon finds out that has a friend named Carol who's also a vampire who is freaky looking.
Oh gosh, I forgot about her. I think I blocked her out. She's the eyeball one, right?
Yeah. And
she looks like one of them fucked up under the sea fish.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That don't see the light.
That's exactly her thing. Yeah, she realizes she can smell the dead vampires on Guillermo. She's onto him, and he ends up killing her on accident, Mr. Magoo style again. Just boom, 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 and it happens. And she's got a stake through her heart, and she's dead. So that Simon was looking for her for a while. And
Gizmo Magoo.
Yep, Gizmo
there we
Magoo.
go.
And then that's his new nickname from now on, Gizmo Magoo. So Simon reveals that he is really after the hats, and I knew it,
The damn witch hat, the cursed witch hat.
Yeah, that damn fucking hat. I want to feel the sweet embrace of a witch's sphincter against it. I guess against his forehead. Isn't the sphincter like in the forehead of the thing or something?
It's in the back. It's like
in the back.
He says, "What's that I feel puckering against my neck. Like, and it's in the first season because I just watched that episode. It's freaking hilarious.
Simon's crew also consists of Neil Patrick and Harris.
Oh yeah, Simon's nasty sewer crew.
Yeah, he had some crew, and they just end up, Laszlo ends up giving him the hat because obviously it's friggin' cursed and get rid of that goddamn thing. Simon was holding on to the hat, and he might be dead. We don't really know. He could come back, that Simon. They kind of left him for dead.
He is devious.
Yes. Okay, so now we're up to episode 8, Collaboration. And we found out that Laszlo wrote a lot of songs. A lot of popular songs. Every episode's our favorite. We're like, oh, this is one of my favorites.
I feel like it just got better and better and better. Like, there were 2 that I was like, nah, but they were building more of the story. But man, this one, his songs, man.
Yeah, they do. Like him and Nadja do this little like routine, like they're singing together. They're like the Captain and Tennille, but vampire version. and it comes out that "Come On Eileen" is playing, and Laszlo hears it and he says, "Oh, that's my song. It was called 'Chum on Irene' about a fishmonger's wife." So it's such like a Laszlo thing. But he goes, they go through all these songs and.
Colin Robinson like comes to them after hearing them talk about all these songs and is like, hey, I'm gonna set up a concert for you. And one of his songs, yes. I remember this one because I loved it so much, was "Stroke, stroke, stroke your cock, come on, make it cream."
Yeah. But then Colin gives him the advice, well, make sure you play new stuff because like all the stuff that people would know and like, he would, when you go to a concert, like you always want people to play like their, not the new stuff, you want them to play their popular stuff. Yep. So Colin, of course, gave them bad advice because he wanted to, suck off of that bad energy in the room.
He was like in the back, like, and he always makes inappropriate jokes. He'll be like, "This is kind of giving me a chub, not gonna lie." Or, that was a bad Colin. That was a Southern Colin, but he sounds more like this. Anyway. Sorry, I started talking about chub.
Watch out. So, there's also an old familiar. There's this other story going on that wasn't as interesting, but these familiars are getting together, and they have a meeting, and Guillermo starts learning about what he thinks, like how other familiars are getting treated, even though they're all just lying to each other about shit. But that apartment had some like war holes on the wall.
This is the one where basically Guillermo is like fed up with being treated like shit by Nandor and like used as everything. Like these vampires, he does everything for them. He cleans up all the dead bodies, he dusts and cleans their house every day, he does their laundry, he takes care of everything. And he's like, it's been 10 years or 12 years or whatever at this point, and he's like,
probably around there.
10, still 11. Around there, 10, 11. So he's getting fed up, and he's been killing all these vampires, and he's getting a little like, I'm getting pissed off, and he's finding it easier and easier, I think, to kill the vampires. Do you feel like that? Because he's killed like
it's like second nature to him now.
Yeah,
he just
he's less Gizmo Magoo. He's more Gizmo Van Halen.
Sure, and they're kind of like the familiars are kind of like unionizing, or in a way, like they're trying to get their rights and their breaks in and everything, and it works for them. I mean
they had that one vampire who was leading them who had the blood vape.
Yep.
Which was like the most hilarious. Like, I was like, oh shit, I feel called out. That would be me if I was a vampire. Just all day. Vaping blood.
So, and she wasn't even a vampire. But anyway, so that story, that was important to get in there because later on, Guillermo, he gets kind of a bad attitude towards being a familiar against Nandor and getting breaks, and it kind of just progresses a little bit. There's only a couple more episodes. We're almost done here. So anyway, so then they found out, they go back to the open mic night, and we find out that Laszlo wrote Kokomo, and the whole, like, that's
way down in
Kokomo.
Show.
Ooh, I wanna take it
to Bahama. Sorry.
Come on, pretty mama. So anyway, so towards the end, Nandor agrees to Guillermo's terms. And they drop Benji off at another rest stop to ditch him, and come to find out he's a vampire. Someone turned him. They must have gotten turned in that apartment after everyone. Oh, wasn't it so cute when Guillermo was running out with a cat vampire?
Yes, I know. Sam. He's in the first season, and I totally missed it. He's a great white
Oh,
cat. I was like, it's Rhaegar. It's Rhaegar.
oh, so cute. All right, so we're up to episode 9, Witches. Guillermo receives and breaks employee rights and whatnot. And while Laszlo is gardening, he gets abducted by witches. He's, who hails the Cravensworth? And there's like a goat sitting there.
Black goat.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so great. The smell. And then they go looking for him. The gang goes looking for him. And Nadia says, the smell of vapor and sulfur is overwhelming. And Laszlo says, that's just Brooklyn. New York City's smelly.
Yeah, I believe it.
In the summertime. In the wintertime, it's great. You don't
Paris
even notice.
stinks, allegedly, so there's that.
Yeah.
Nandor and Lazo get abducted by the witches.
Yeah.
And they like suck them up into the sky, and all these like purple flames go around them, and then they go like, "Oh fuck!" Both of them, like they're so shocked, and Nadja's like, "It's witches! It's witches!" After Laszlo goes, and then they're running around trying to find him outside, and then Nandor gets sucked up, and then basically Nadja and Colin have to go and get Laszlo and Nandor back.
And they end up in an escape room, which is
Yep.
like so trendy, you know. So, and they end up getting out because Salida, it means exit in Spanish, and Guillermo can read it. So
Yeah,
it took them a while. It took them longer than it should have.
Yeah, the witches trapped them in the escape room.
Yeah. So
Hilarious.
they get out, and eventually they get out, and the witches fully engorge the boys in order to extract their sperm so they can stay young. So they go through all this stuff, all these rituals and dancing, which was funny. I mean, Laszlo was all about it for a little bit until he saw the tools.
And the tools look like what I feel like should be the male equivalent of what we have to do every year.
Yeah.
That it should be as
Speculum,
horrible.
yeah.
That as the speculum is to me.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
support women's health.
Yeah. Too bad they don't have to do it. Like they have no idea. Anyway, okay, so they find out that Laszlo cheated on
Nadja.
Nadja, thank you, with this witch Lilith, and she disguised herself having long dark hair and a generic European accent. And Nadja's like, I can't believe that you thought that was me, you know. And who else did they find? Do you remember who else they found out that he had sex with long dark hair?
I don't.
Nandor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he likes the long dark hair, I guess, Laszlo.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so Guillermo once again saves the day, and he suggests a deal about getting the seed willingly, and Laszlo was relegated to the coffin in the basement, he says, and he finds Nandor downstairs, and he's still engorged. So they both decide that they're gonna finish each other off. There's a lot of Laszlo Nandor love stuff this season. It's great.
It's adorable.
Laszlo is game for whoever is game.
And Nandor ain't getting none. So
no, he never. No, it's so weird.
He's like a baby. He's like a big dumb baby.
He is.
He's just a jolly chap.
Yeah.
That's another one of the songs. I'm a jolly old fellow from Collaboration.
Any old timey song that we know he wrote.
Yep.
Oh gosh. All right. So the last episode is Nouveau Theatre des Vampires. So Guillermo continues to test Nandor's patience with taking days off, and the house is in chaos.
He came back basically after going to that other vampire's house because Nandor came looking for him, right? And like he was like, "Oh, Guillermo, I want you back." So it's kind of been like a Guillermo and Nandor. They've been fighting and going across. So Guillermo's getting like fucking pissed off this whole season leading up to this.
Yeah, there's like insubordination on Guillermo's part.
He's struggling.
Yeah, and there's death. So Guillermo disappears, and he actually ends up leaving. He quit. He went to go live with his mother.
Yep.
And there's total chaos. They don't know it yet, but there's total chaos in the house. There's dead bodies laying around everywhere. There's fires burning. Shit's going on.
What happens is he goes to live with his mom again, so he's not in the house. So they cold open on Guillermo with his mom, speaking Spanish to his mom, whose fridge is broken.
And they didn't even realize that he was gone. So they thought they got invited to this, fancy party, the, premiere event for vampires, and they were psyched. So they had to figure out how to get their clothes washed first, which is, funny. Guillermo finds out that, oh my God, this is a trap. So he goes, of course, to save them. And they're still in the theater. The crew's in the theater, completely oblivious. Guillermo breaks in. And then my man, Jimmy Clement, appears, and he's head of the vampire council or whatever. Just love him. And he's up there talking, and they still have no idea. They bust into like this, it's like a Hamilton-inspired reenactment of all the vampires that have gone missing over like the last year.
Featuring doppelgangers of Nandor, Laszlo, and Nadja.
So funny.
Oh my God, great.
What does Laszlo say? Laszlo says something like, "We were promised nudes. Penis.
We were promised full bush and full boner.
Yeah. This is a swizz," or whatever he
This
said.
is a squash. And he was real. Nadja and Laszlo in this one were really like, because they were talking about the theater of vampires as being this like eloquent, illustrious event where only the creme de la creme of the vampires are invited. And she was so excited about it. And like they were talking about raunchy sexual acts. And he says like something like, Laszlo says, not just like a whiff of tit, but full rack. That killed me. Oh my gosh.
He says the best. He's favorite.
Amazing.
Oh gosh. And then so they're trying them, they're accusing him of killing all these vampires, and Nandor completely throws Guillermo under the bus. Like I don't think he even knows if he killed him. No, he doesn't know. He just starts blaming the familiar. That's the thing to do. That's the go-to thing to do. And Guillermo gets so mad. He gets into this, frenzy.
He goes into a blood state.
Yep. Bloodthirst takes over, and he just kills everyone, all the vampires except the people that they live with, the crew.
Yep.
He kills all of them. It reminded me of like that my man Colin Firth in The Kingsman, when in the church scene when he kills all the people in the church. Did you see those movies?
Yep, I love those. The Kingsman.
Not quite that choreographed, but it was still good.
Oh, it was great. I called that at the beginning. As soon as I figured out it was a trap, I was like, he's gonna kill every single one of those fucking vampires except our vampires. And that's exactly what he did, and it was amazing, and he went full, embraced his heritage. And in the beginning they were arguing because they couldn't remember Gizmo's last name, and Nadja thought it was Guillermo. And God, that was hilarious.
Oh,
so he turns around and he goes, "I'm Guillermo de la Cruz." And they're like, "We don't fucking care, man."
And they still complain about the laundry after he just saved all their lives. Nandor like bitches out about the laundry. I had to get my own laundry. Oh my God. But the season was just fantastic. I mean, that concludes all the episodes. We went through them all. The season is just, the show in general is just so good. I mean, I didn't even mention it yet, but the costumes and the set design it's impeccable. Like, it's so good.
Yep, it's seriously
every single painting, every single thing in the background. Like, if you look at it, it's like you could watch the show over and over and over again and still like pick out stuff in the back, like funny stuff. And it's just cohesively just so good. I tried to watch the movie the other night. I went back to watch the movie from 2014, and it's still a classic. I mean, I love it, but it looks really cheap compared to the show. It's real low budget. And the show is kind of, they're not using any special effects really, maybe with some flying and some bats here and there. But
I mean, they do a little bit of CGI, but it's mainly like once per episode, like the doll, or like they do the troll and the ghosts, and it's all well done,
Yeah, for TV, for an FX half-hour show, a comedy, you know what I mean? Like, you can't ask for anything more. But no, I just think this whole world that they've built is good. I highly recommend the movie. I highly recommend, there's a spinoff from the movie from before this show came out called Wellington Paranormal, and it's out of New Zealand, and it's about these two cops that it's kind of like, X-Files meets What We Do in the Shadows. It's hilarious too. I mean, they really have this sort of humor down. It's just so good.
Yeah, and I love this show, and I can't wait for season 3. I can't wait. It's going to be like 2 years or something.
Everything is going to be 2 years. We're going to be waiting a long
Minimum.
time for a lot of things. Is there
Yeah.
really like, I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves. We'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll
We'll
watch
have-
more shows and have more discussions.
So watch older stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll wait for the drought to come. It'll be here, but sooner or later. But okay, so that was our first episode, and hopefully we have some more stuff to cover. We're talking about some things, some interesting shows to bring to you guys and talk about. Hopefully
Maybe
you watch
some
them too.
Comics or some books eventually. We can
Yeah,
get to
sure.
things.
Oh,
I just ordered V for Vendetta, and I can send it to you when I'm done if you want to read it.
nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
cool. That'll be
Because
awesome.
I lost my copy, so I was like, I want to read it again.
I never read it, so that's a deal. We could do
Yeah.
that for sure.
And that's like one of my favorite all-time movies ever.
Yeah.
So
I haven't watched it in years. I gotta go. I think I've only seen it once.
it
I
hits
gotta go
really
back and watch
hard. It hits so hard right now.
Oh, does it?
oh my
Maybe I
God.
should watch it.
You should watch it tonight, girl. We're gonna put this out on Podbean to start off with, because that's the one I'm most familiar with, and we were also going to put the audio version up on YouTube on our ALUMINation YouTube channel, and you can find us on Twitter, and that is at ALUMINation, and I just updated our profile and banner
Nice.
art, so now we look less like a creepy stalker channel, and you guys know we're legit. So
we're really somebody. I swear.
we're people.
We only have 20
You know us.
followers. It's not a bot.
You
This
know
is
us.
an old account. Yeah,
We're-
we just used it to vote during the Davos Fingers
Yep,
tournament. That's all. We started.
that's all we
back
used
then.
it for. We had to like weigh it in our favor.
Yep. But
Um,
anyway, guys, that's our show, and hopefully you'll hear from us soon. Be nice to each other. Stay
Be
safe.
cool. Stay safe. Watch some good TV. Don't take no shit.
Eat some good food.
Eat good food. Smoke good weed. Drink
Yep.
good
You
drink.
said it, not me, but yep.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.